as a special series on Nepal, and the column Envoy Speaks, we have today Jess Dutton, Deputy High Commissioner Canada, with us. So, Mr. Dutton, welcome to diplomacyindia.com.
Thank you.
And to begin with, we'd like to ask you one thing, that recently Nepal was quick hit. Canada also participated in the evacuation, relief, rehabilitation, humanitarian mission. So what was the extent of it? How did you participate? What was your experience?
Well, thank you. Canada was one of the first countries to respond to the crisis in Nepal. We not only responded with humanitarian assistance to some Canadian partners and the United Nations, but we were also able to deploy our disaster assistance response team, which is a military humanitarian operation that was deployed around Kathmandu, but also outside of the city.
Okay.
Canada supported the deployment of a Canadian Red Cross relief hospital, as well as supplying some of our own relief supplies that we have stationed in 2 locations around the world. In fact, we had 4 different shipments of Canadian relief supplies arrive. So that, combined with our $10 million of humanitarian assistance, plus a matching fund where the government, for every dollar that Canadians give, the government would match. The final amounts haven't been announced yet, but a very significant contribution from Canada.
Okay, and how many Canadian nationals you must have evacuated from Nepal at that point of time?
Well, we thought, it was, the earthquake occurred during a very busy time in Nepal, peak of one of the trekking seasons, so we weren't entirely sure how many Canadians were in Nepal at the time of the earthquake. But through active consular activities, we were able to determine that there were well over 500. We were able to provide assistance through our consulate in Kathmandu, but we also deployed extra consular officers to help. And so we, in the end, through 2 relief flights, were able to evacuate over 100 individuals.
Okay. So, what was your experience, Canada's experience with the Indian contingent working over there? The assistance from Indian government in those operations, the other activities also which were being carried out by the Indian government?
Well, I think India needs to be commended for its response to the earthquake. They were first on the ground and they provided significant support. They were also of great assistance to Canada's response, mainly through allowing Canadian citizens access to India with visa on arrival. We evacuated, as I said, over 100 individuals, and if India hadn't granted visa on arrival from those coming from Nepal, we would have had great difficulty bringing Canadians to safety.
Okay. And Mr. Dutton, now coming to the reconstruction, after the quake hit Nepal, the reconstruction phase of Nepal, is Canada planning to undertake some role in the reconstruction also?
Well, Canada is still focusing on its humanitarian response. We should have an announcement coming out in the coming weeks with additional contributions. We will be attending the donor conference in Kathmandu on June the 25th, and then in consultations with our allies, international financial institutions, will determine specifically the role that Canada will play.